bit better.
Well, take us around the globe, what we're seeing in terms of increased number of cases across Europe and in China, where we're seeing a slowdown.
Well, you know, the funny thing is, Stephanie, when you started the segment and you said make a comparison, I thought you were going to ask me to compare India, 1.35 billion people that they're now shutting down, with China, 1.4 billion people, and they've got really a handle on these cases now, and they're reopening parts of the China wall. And in fact, they're actually on a path by the end of April, beginning of May, to have the economy fully functional again. Don't we wish we could say that in the United States or in Europe? And so I think one thing that's very interesting, before this crisis, China was clearly a technology superpower, smaller than the U.S. economically, but still globally an economic superpower. No one would have said China was a soft power superpower. You didn't look to China to figure out how to run things domestically. Are you kidding me? You're going to learn something from the authoritarian, state capitalist, middle-income Chinese. But right now, the Chinese are showing the world that you really do have the ability, through technologically empowered surveillance, incredible data and control of all of their citizens, they've been able to get a handle of a massive outbreak that, by the way, they were responsible for. And now it's virtually over in China. And
okay,
we
but
in the
Ian,
United States,
Ian, hold on.
Do it. Yep.
But isn't that because China is uniquely qualified to handle this specific pandemic? Because the prescription is lock everyone up and force them to stay home. Only a country with that kind of government could do something like that.
It's that. Partially, I got this video from the city of Nanjing that I posted a couple days ago. It's about 12 minutes long. And it takes you through, for example, what they're doing in taxis, sanitizing them 3 times a day and putting full plastic between the front and the back, showing you the way that they're actually serving people in restaurants and the distancing and how they're preparing food, as well as how they're doing the non-touch distance food delivery, public infrastructure and transit and the workplace. There's no question, Stephanie, that no one in the United States, we're not an authoritarian country, we don't want to be one. But, you know, not only was the video chilling because of the control they have of the people, it was also humbling in terms of just how extensive in so many different aspects of life they were able to get this stuff up and running. And what I'm saying is not that I think the United States is going to start emulating China, but rather I think that the Chinese model is going to be seen as a lot more attractive to a lot more non-Americans around the world. And by the way, the Americans are going to have to start competing. The Chinese are not weak, you know, sort of irrelevant at the margins, do what we say or we'll crush them. If we want to win, and I really hope we do, because I certainly prefer to live in our system, I know you do, we're going to have to take them a lot more seriously, because they're coming out of this crisis a lot stronger than they were going in. And frankly, I'm not sure the same can be said of the Americans or the Europeans.
Speaking of strong, let's give a shout out for that cobalt blue wall behind Ian Bremmer. Looks pretty good. Ian, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. I want you to come back soon